Are you ready for an out-of-the-box country music musical? Outro, a psychedelic country musical, details the struggles of country singer Wynn Cryer as she grapples with her current circumstances with a hint or two of some magic mushrooms. It's an interesting ride. And after recording the cast album in LA, playwright, composer, and performer Holly Ann Mitchell is bringing her incredible team of actors and musicians up to Portland to premiere this rollicking, high-energy musical. She joins us now to chat more about the production and everything to do with Outro. It's great to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Allie. I'm here to spill it.
Oh my gosh, Holly, I am excited for you to spill the beans on all this. What was your inspiration for this musical?
You know, the show is really magical, and it kind of happened in a magical way.
Yeah.
I fell asleep on a plane just after Christmas, coming back from Nashville to Florida, and I fell asleep mid-flight, woke up, and I saw this whole story. I saw all of the characters and wrote it down in the Uber going back home, and then I realized, oh, in a week, it was done.
You're like, I got something here.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And a lot of I was stalking your website a little bit, and a lot of the plays that you've been in, the musicals you've been in, are very unconventional. The last one you were in was a zombie romance love story, and now we've got this kind of psychedelic country music trip. So for folks at home who might not know the plot of Outro, tell me more about what happens in this.
Sure. So I've always had a fascination with death ever since I was a little girl. I loved horror. I loved Stephen King. And so a lot of my themes are really around death, and creativity is a process of death. You have to go through the darkness and bring that story into the light. And that's what Wynn is trying to do in this story. So she's really grappling with her suicidality. She went through a lot of stuff. She lost her dad. She almost burned the house down while she was high and lost custody of her daughter. And so she decides she's going to write her last song, her outro. And then it's going to be her best song. She's going to end her life. But the ghost of her dad comes to visit, and he, along with her manager, force her into the studio with her ex-husband, who was always her creative partner, to write their last album together. And they decide, because they don't like each other, that they're going to take a giant dose of psychedelic mushrooms to go through this creative process together. And they go on a journey of the unraveling of their marriage, of their parenting, of their non-binary child. And, you know, the question is, will writing these songs save her life or help her to end it?
That is so fascinating. There's a lot of meat there in that story to really dive into if you're a viewer. And we were talking country music. Is this kind of the genre that you gravitate towards? Is the genre that you typically perform when you're doing music outside of this musical?
It's my first time doing country.
Oh, period.
But it's funny that I never found myself here before, because I grew up in the South, and I lived in Nashville for a year and learned a lot about songwriting living in Nashville. But my first album was theatrical indie pop, and but this just came through in a really special way, and I love the songs. And what's cool that I've lived in other genres before is, if you don't like country, you will like this show. There's something for everybody. There's a lot of genre bending, and because we can get trippy with a lot of the psychedelics, it's really something cool. Something that I think my ghost dad, my dad who's passed on, would be really proud of, because he was a musician.
And as we were talking about when we were diving into the plot, this show, this musical, has a lot of different emotional tones and a lot of emotional requirements for the actors. So you yourself are acting in this musical. Tell me what you do to kind of bring up those emotions, to really convey that real feeling on stage.
You know, it's actually been really physically intense to play this character.
I'm sure.
To carry her thoughts and her experiences inside my body has been very taxing. So I have to do these little rituals to sort of switch out of Wynn and back into Holly, so that I'm not carrying the weight of her darkness. But I think there's also a lot of hope in this show. And so the way that I get into it, it's really quite easy. It's just connecting to the people in my life who've inspired Wynn. I lost a dear friend who was a playwright and an actor she died by suicide, unfortunately. And I think about her every time I write, because art becomes the container to hold what is uncontainable.
Yeah.
And as artists, we feel things and experience them very deeply, but the art is where we can hold them and then we can share them so that we're not alone in that experience.
Absolutely. And the debut of this musical, when is it happening? Where is it happening? Give me all the details.
It's happening at 2110 Theater, who has been amazing. They've opened their arms to the show and really helped pull out all the stops so that we could make it happen here in Portland. We have a preview performance this Thursday.
Fabulous.
And then our opening night is Friday through Sunday of this weekend.
I love it. And where can people get tickets?
They can get tickets at 2110.org, or they can go to our Instagram at Outro the Musical and click on the link in bio.
There are several ways to get tickets, and you are going to love this show. It's so, so cool. Holly, thank you so, so much for joining us today. It was great chatting with you here on the couch.
Thanks, Allie. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
To find out more information about Outro, a psychedelic country musical, go to hollyannmitchell.com and 2110.org. And it's time for a break, but when we get back, we've got a parent's back-to-school survival guide for technology with so many kids using technology